What's up, guys? Welcome to Ring Chasers, presented by the Sports 2.0 Network and Draftking Sportsbook. I'm joined by my co-host, Corey Walsh here. Not a good week, Corey. Not a good week for the Patriots, but how you doing?
I'm going to be better today than I probably will be the next podcast episode. So that's all I can really say for a positive spin.
You know what I will say, though, about that, at least? Like, we went into this, we both predicted a win this week, right? And we were obviously wrong. This week, we know we're going to get our ass kicked. We're just waiting to get our ass kicked. So I'm ready for it.
Yeah, the level of disappointment that I will have probably won't match this week, but it'll be just more depression that will follow instead.
Yeah. Well, you know what, though? Maybe Bill Belichick shuts down Tom Brady because of his defensive scheme and we win. Who knows? You never know. It's possible.
Yeah, it's always – the NFL is a crazy place.
I mean, hey, the Baltimore Orioles beat the Red Sox last night. So anything can happen in sports. Anything can happen, Corey. All right.
It's true.
First, we get into this Draftking Sportsbook $1,000 deposit match, guys. They have so many promotions running right now with Tom Brady returning home, so make sure you check that out, guys. It's like plastered all over the sportsbook. So $1,000 deposit match, use it, bet the Patriots and the Buccaneers. Bucks at -6.5. I just saw a better put $65,000 to win like 140 back on the Buccaneers to cover -6.5. So that's probably a good bet. Just gonna say, throw it out there right now. Even though it's the Patriots podcast, we're already starting off being depressed. Draftking Sportsbook, guys, make sure you lock that up. We got some segments.
What? I was going to say, Draftking Sportsbook should just have a prop bet of how far the Buccaneers will tear the Patriots' ass apart because it's going to be wide.
It is going to be wide. You know, it's funny too. We're going to talk about this at the end, I guess. But like they were talking about how bad the Buccaneers now they have Sherman now, but how bad the Buccaneers defense was against the Rams. Like it's still the Rams. Like it's not the dink and dunk Matt Jones offense. By the way, what do you think? What do you think?
Looks great. You know, if I saw you, I'd be like, you must have just got that from the Nike outlet. Psych. Nope. Import.
It looks legit. Like the numbers are like perfect. I'm afraid to wash it and it smells really bad, but it's just what you got to deal with, right? I mean, to get a cheap jersey.
Exactly. You know, you just got to take your hits as you get them. Unfortunately for you, every time you take a whiff, you will be hit by that terrible smell.
Yeah, when's yours coming?
TBD. Mine also was from another country across the sea. For all I know, Al-Qaeda could have just took it, and Mac Jones is going to be over there.
Mac Jones will be in his sophomore season by the time you get that jersey.
It's going to be
all
great.
Right. So we got some segments tonight. We got Panic Room, Jonas Gray Award of the Week, Inside the Hoodie, and Quick Hits. I think we should start with Quick Hits, Corey. And
yeah, well,
we don't really know what these segments mean, honestly. We kind of do, but we kind of don't. We're going to roll with it tonight.
First quick hit for me. Let's just talk about how the run game was completely abandoned.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Damian Harris, we thought was our stalwart back. I don't see any other competition now with James White being out for the season. He only carried the ball, I think, 6 times for 14 yards. Pretty depressing stuff, honestly.
Yep.
And then who on earth was going to take over that James White role, you might ask? No, not Tanner's wet dream, Ramondre Stevenson. Maybe a little bit of J.J. Taylor. But it was Brandon Bolden, the special teams player, and that was the biggest waste of snaps I've ever seen. So my quick hit on that was, Jesus Christ, our running back group looks toast.
Well, Mac Jones was the leading rusher, which is bad. If freaking Mac Jones, freaking Budweiser, chicken finger Mac Jones is the leading rusher, that's never a good thing. Also, maybe this is a little sign moving ahead. Tom Brady was the leading rusher in his game against the Rams too.
The difference between the Tampa offense and ours is that theirs can go for like 400 yards at a clip, and ours goes for a nice, calm 200.
Yep, there you go. So my quick hit is Mac Jones threw the ball 51 times. 51. So I guess that kind of complements.
It kind of is synergizing our two hits.
Yeah, Mac Jones threw the ball. In what world are we going to win football games with Mac Jones throwing the ball 51 times?
When our wide receivers get more than a yard of separation.
Which they don't. Yeah, and they dropped a shit ton of passes this week too. I don't know the exact number, but
I'm saving my panic room for a player that commonly relates to that. But so we'll save that for later. But yeah, that is not a game plan that I want. I know everyone was all week like Mac needs to throw the ball. We got to stop doing dink and dunk. Well, you just saw the complete opposite of that, and it looked like an absolute dumpster fire.
Yeah, I mean, you got to ease him into the long ball. I like the dink and dunk. Like, let's go back to it. But that's all we're gonna do this week. If we try, I mean, this was the Saints. Saints have a very good defense, obviously, but it's not like the Buccaneers. If we try this against the Buccaneers, he was 30 for 51. He'll probably be 15 for 51 with less yards.
No, see, the thing is, the Tampa has a low-key awful defense. Like,
Really?
they have teams just torch them up. I mean, it's fair to say that Dallas and the Rams are two of like the top 5 offenses in the league.
Yeah.
But they give up yards by the dozen, honestly. And it's more than now with the Bucs that if Tom Brady can just keep them like ahead, like matching tit for tat pretty much. And we didn't see that against the Rams because the Rams their defense was way better than what the Bucs were doing. And they were able to score because Cooper Kupp is the most unstoppable wide receiver in the NFL apparently this year. Yeah, just because he gets breakfast with Matthew Stafford.
You know what? Go ahead, keep going.
No, you go.
You look at the Bucs defense though. It's like they got all 11 stars returning. Now they just picked up Richard Sherman. They're playing against good teams. Like we played against the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Saints, right? So like that's where I'm coming from. Like I feel like the Buccaneers defense could be the MVP of the week moving forward. But I guess we're still on quick hits. We're still breaking down this depressing Saints game. So Mac Jones throwing the ball 51 times, and the combination of Mac Jones being the leading rusher, he's the MVP of the day by far.
Oh yeah, if we're handing out a Patriots MVP, I guess actually I would hand it to Kendrick Bourne as my MVP of that game. He actually showed up and made his contract worth it, unlike most of our offensive additions. Jonnu Smith.
What are they doing? What are they do? What are our tight ends doing?
I don't know, because when you look on the field, Hunter Henry looks pretty good at certain times when he's open and Mac Jones sees him. Jonnu Smith's open. It just seems like he forgot how to catch, and he likes to just tip it back up to corners and let them just take another chance at it. Here's an idea, Jonnu. Next time you're going to do a juggling act with the football, just hit it on the ground, because doing it in motion with your corner right behind you, I love playing volleyball as much as the next guy, but you're not trying to set up the other team. Thanks.
Now, do you think Bill Belichick will redact? Is that the word? Retract his statement about Jonnu Smith being one of the greatest tight ends, not greatest tight ends, but being a very, very good tight end after they played us, a couple of years, last year, was it 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Right? Yeah.
I think Bill will keep that close to the vest. Maybe he'll say it in confidence to his son on the way home in the car, or to Josh, like by the water cooler, being like, John is actually asked, this was a terrible idea. And then it would but that's like the most it's going to be. We'll just keep trotting him out there until we realize, oh, wait, he's not doing much for us right now.
There you go. All right. So let's go with Jonas Gray Award of the Week. I have a good one. I have a really good one. Corey, why don't you explain this award that we're going to give out?
For those who remember the Patriots of old, back when we didn't get blown out by the Saints, Jonas Gray was a running back who came in and lit the world on fire for absolutely one day against the Colts back, I think, for maybe like 6 years ago, honestly, at this point. And then he missed his alarm the next day, and he was done. And Sports Illustrated covers were printed. I think I still honestly have mine. And yeah, he's gone. So this award really just means who's the player that came out of nowhere, delivered a great performance, and we probably won't hear about them ever again. But if we do, that's a huge positive.
We got a comment. Tanner, you didn't have a stroke. Gloria, do not tell me what the score of the Red Sox game is. I'm not going. We're doing 2 straight podcasts tonight. Don't tell me what the score of the Red Sox game is. All right, I might have a stroke still. All right, my Jonas Gray Award of the Week here. All right, I'm going to go. I don't see this. I don't know if there's like an exact Jonas Gray Award of the Week. Like, I feel like the guy I'm going to pick actually woke up and went to practice on Monday, or if they were off Monday, Tuesday, right? All right, so I'm going to go with Jake Bailey.
Okay.
That's a big time. That's a good selection, I think. All right. Jake Bailey punted 5 times, 283 yards. He had 1 inside the 20, he had 2 touchbacks. What are you going to do? 68 yards was his long, though. I'll take it. I think the kicking game was pretty damn good. And then you got Nick Folk, who will never miss a field goal again to save his life. Like, just won't miss. He's money. Yeah.
Fun fact about Jake Bailey, his block punt in that Saints game was his first blocked punt ever, and it was the longest streak a punter has ever gone since his first, without getting his punt ever blocked. So shout out to Jake Bailey.
I'm going to go with him.
Great award for you, Jake. Except you're really good, so you won't disappear into the ashes of nowhere. I'm afraid my Jonas Gray Award of the Week goes to Kendrick Bourne, who, like I said, showed up and delivered our only passing touchdown we've had outside of the one to Nelson Aguilar 2 weeks ago. Congratulations that one of the wide receivers that we paid lucrative money for decided to show up. And, honestly, if this is what it takes for a passing game to actually get receivers involved, because Bourne's a speedster and he was all over the field, I felt like, on Sunday. One of the lonely bright spots of that absolute thrashing. But, like I said, Kendrick Bourne, keep it up. If you don't, you're not going to be my Jonas Gray Award of the Week. Recipient anytime soon again, which I'm afraid I'm starting to think that might happen.
Well, it's like there wasn't much to really write home about on either side of the ball, I don't think. Jacoby Myers had a good day too, but it's like you can't, like, these are guys that we need to have good days to win football games.
Yeah. I would say the defense overall played pretty well in this Saints game. It was just that the turnovers just made it so they couldn't really do anything with it. The only time I was really pissed at the defense was on that last drive where Taysom Hill came in and just absolutely ran down our throats and then scored a touchdown when we only had 10 men on the field. Another un-Belichick-like defensive performance in that sense. We're also still hyper penalized and it just didn't look great.
Yeah. You know what too? I think I saw, we're not really wrapping up though. Did you notice that? We had opportunities to get to Jameis. We just didn't wrap up.
Yeah.
Which is a problem.
When he throws a touchdown while on the ground, what are you going to do? He's a conjurer. He just has magic. Sean
Payton, I saw a clip of this. He went over, like, Jameis would come outside. It's like, what the fuck? Why are you throwing that football? Like, why would you ever throw that football? Like, in no world. Like, I know it's touchdown, but that's why he throws so many interceptions, because he does that shit all the time.
When you look at that throw, he was looking up. He wasn't even looking at Marquez Callaway, who caught it. He was just in the sky, and he was just like, you know what? This seems right. And then he just let it go.
Yeah, he just let it go, and then it was a touchdown. But what are you going to do? All right, so Jonas Gray Award of the Week. Hopefully we have some better ones. Ramondre Stevenson should be the Jonas Gray Award of the Week, but he didn't play.
I'll just lock that in as yours for at least half the season with
when
James White.
Look, he's going to be good. Like he'll suit up next week for sure now with James White out.
I would hope so. But JJ Taylor is also going to get a ton of looks because he got it during the game. But I feel like James White's carries were split evenly between JJ Taylor and Brandon Bolden. Unfortunately, the more impactful plays, we somewhat, for some reason, decided to put in Brandon Bolden. Don't know why. I would have rather have been JJ Taylor, but
too, like, I think Ramondre Stevenson, though, he's the permanent Jonas Gray Award of the Week winner. Like, he's just he won it already. He was the first winner before we had the segment, because
our preseason Jonas Gray Award
because then he fumbled and now he's never going to play again until James White got hurt. James White, that's pretty devastating for us.
Oh yeah, that's a huge loss. He was low-key our best receiver.
Let's press the panic button. James White is not there anymore.
Running back room, I'm hitting the panic button because this is just a disaster. We were going at least for 5 podcasts straight being like, man, our running back group is deep. It's versatile. We have so many choices. We trade Sony Michel away. James White broke his hip. I think he just dislocated it. But the same, a running back dislocating their hip is like a nail in the tombstone. That's it. That's it for James White. And honestly, that's probably it, unless JJ Taylor can really look to show Shane Vereen, James White style attributes. He's just so short. During the broadcast, they showed him next to wide receivers like Nelson Aguilar, and he looked like a kindergartner that got put up with 5th graders.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to press the panic button on the coaching staff.
Oh,
I'm going to press. We've won games in New England because of Bill Belichick's just boom, boom, pay attention to the detail, do the little things right, don't get penalized, don't turn the ball over. And through 3 weeks of play, we have done that consistently, and it's cost us games.
Yes. Overall, the coach, it just doesn't seem like Bill has the same grip on this team that he did last year. We were the least penalized team last year, and that was the only reason I felt like we went 7-9 was because we were so disciplined. I just feel like the infusion of so many new players that we brought in via free agency and the draft, the culture just needs time to balance out. I've heard a ton of times that the September is basically preseason because no one plays in the preseason anymore, that everything is you're kind of playing a glorified practice. If the Patriots going 1-3 like I expect after week 4, it's a bad start, but I saw have the 8th best schedule. It's the eighth easiest schedule in the NFL. So I think we could still rebound. It's a 17-game season. If you think about it, it's only 1/4 of the season. Even if we don't make the playoffs, I still think there's a chance we could go like 9-8.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't think this year. I mean, obviously, you want to win as many games as possible. You want to make the playoffs, but I think this year is about making sure the culture is intact for next year too, with Mac Jones leading the way. Now, are we pressing the panic button on Mac Jones yet?
No, I think the Mac Jones knee-jerk reaction by everyone being like, haha, I knew he was ass. You ask him to throw the ball deep, and this is what you get. If you look at the film, honestly, like his first interception was when he got hit as he threw it. So that automatically made that a duck. The second one was Jonnu Smith not being able to catch a football on a wide open throw across the field. So that's a terrible, not really Mac's fault either. The third one is the one you could probably point the most blame to, but at that point, he was just throwing it around to get us upfield. Like he was our entire offense in those in the last 2 possessions we had in the game. He was slinging it around. He honestly looked pretty good. So I wouldn't look at this and think at all like, oh shit, maybe Mac's just not great at all.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not pressing the panic button on Mac Jones. I got the jersey, so I got to ride with him. You know what's amazing though? The media just picking him apart, like saying Bill's not letting him make mistakes, blah blah blah. Like they're playing to win the football game. Like they're saying like, okay, Trevor Lawrence has thrown 7 interceptions, so he's like they're letting him make mistakes, and that's why he's going to be good someday, and Mac Jones isn't. And all this, like I saw so much stuff this week. It was crazy.
Yeah, I just think, like we said, Mac Jones is the unsexiest quarterback of the group by his play. And if like Mac Jones doesn't like lead to a win with his little dink and dunk style or just like throwing the safe throws that the Patriots need in order to win games, meanwhile Jacksonville looks like they're a dumpster fire. And I don't think any Jags fan is sitting here being like, man, I'm glad that we're losing all these games because Trevor Lawrence is slinging the ball off one foot, off bootleg screen passes right to the defender, pick sixes. This is great. I love this. I don't think there's a single Jets fan right now that's looking at Zach Wilson being like, I love how he just says fuck it on 90% of his throws. This is the best. I'm so glad we're 0-3. This is awesome. And then, I mean, what else is there to say? I think the person who's getting the most unnecessary blame right now is Justin Fields because his coach / offensive coordinator is inept, and he just doesn't want to ever change his scheme at all, even though he has one of the most talented athletic quarterbacks that came into this draft.
Yeah, Matt Nagy's a dumbass. Like I've just come to that conclusion. He is like, I don't know. Now it's an open competition between the Red Rocket, Big Dick Nick, and Justin Fields.
Yeah, because I watched the Bears last year with Nick Foles and thought, yeah, this could go better if we just give him another year.
Like it's ridiculous. I don't know. Like his job would be saved if he started Justin Fields this year. He would definitely get one more year. Now he's just like saying like, fuck it.
I don't know, because after that game, I mean, 1 total net passing yard when you count in all 9 sacks. Yeah. That was terrible. I mean, he has Allen Robinson. He barely uses him. I would know because he's on my fantasy team, and he is just an abysmal black hole that gets nothing. I just can't. I'm like, people are complaining about Josh McDaniels and how his offensive scheme maybe isn't as great as we once thought. Go look at Matt Nagy just run these awful schemes where he just keeps his quarterback playing the same style that he played with Andy Dalton. You look at Andy Dalton and you look at Justin Fields and you find me one similarity that they share physically. There's none. But when the scheme goes out there and the Bears just are chugging along, it just looks awful. I'm not going to sit here and shit on McDaniels when there's way worse offensive situations out there.
Yeah. I miss Jay Cutler playing football. Speaking of the Bears, I miss Jay Cutler. I love Jay.
Jay Cutler, Matt Forte, Brandon Marshall,
Rip. The good old days.
The only days that Bears fans remember fondly.
All right, inside the hoodie. You came up with this segment, but I actually have a good idea for it. I'm going to throw it to you right now. Why don't we pretend to be Bill Belichick and we give a speech to the team, like a minute speech, and figure out what would we say to the team this week after getting our ass kicked by the New Orleans Saints with the greatest quarterback of all time coming to town this week.
All right, you give the one to the locker room, and then I'll give the one that Bill's thinking to himself.
Okay, I like that. All right.
But we don't have to do the voices because a minute long of a Bill Belichick voice is going to be terrible audio.
I can't even do the voice. You're better at the voice. But all right, so I'm gonna go right in post game. Right
after getting thrashed by famous Jameis.
He's all right, man. You got to be better than that. Got to turn the ball over. Too many penalties. That's how we win games here in New England. You can't do that. And that's on me as a coach. We got to get better, man. We got to get better. That's all I got. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. There's nothing much to say, honestly. It's just you guys fucking sucked. Like, figure it out. It's like Jameis Winston's freaking throwing touchdowns behind his back. That can't happen. He's
doing dude perfect type throws to his wide receivers.
Yeah, we got to hold on to the football. We can't get penalized. Playing a good football team. What do you expect? I mean, you look at it's not hard. You go look at the turnover margin, you go look at the penalty yards, and you go look at us running the football. What great teams do. They run the football well, they don't get penalized, and they're efficient, whatever they do. They don't get punts blocked. They don't do it like it was just nothing looked like New England championship football. So maybe that wasn't inside the hoodie, but that was just my thoughts.
I'll try to get. I should just for this segment. I should just start wearing hoodies to get inside Bill. But all right. Let me think. What is Bill? All right. Bill goes in. Just talk to the team. He's in a really bad mood. He goes into his office. He sits down. He looks over. He sees Tom Brady losing to the Rams, and he's like, "Fuck." Because if there's anything that I know, what Tom will do, he'll be more pissed and have more motivation coming into this game than he was going to have in the first place. I just looked at my team. I mean, geez, I paid Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry all this money. I can't run them together. They're actually worse together than they are alone. Nelson Aguilar, he looks just as bad as he did with the Eagles. Yeah. This defense that I'm a genius of, and I've handed it to my son and Gerard Mayo and myself and whatever the fuck Matt Patricia does. I don't know why I hired him. He just sits in his office with a pencil in his ear. This is a huge waste of time. Ernie Adams retired. Jesus Christ, Dante Hightower slow. Why couldn't he just take another COVID absence? No one knows. And then I look over and I see Mac just sitting depressed on the bench, and I'm like, God damn it. This is what it feels like to have a young quarterback. This is awful.
With his beer belly and his no bull hoodie on.
I was really looking forward to getting a celebratory Bud Light with Mac after the game. That's not fucking happening. I'm going to go back on my exercise bike. God damn it. This sucks. And I'm going to have to find some way to beat the quarterback that knows my defensive scheme better than anyone else in this entire league. Sweet. And Rob Gronkowski, I thought was going to be out. Turns out he didn't break his ribs. He's fine. God damn it.
And he's in shape this year, and he's actually playing well. Like it's just not going to be good. I mean, we'll get into this game right now. But I was thinking about this too, and like Tom Brady, like I saw some ESPN article, and it said Tom Brady like not reminiscing about the memories. He's like, yeah, it's going to be emotional when I get out there, but make no mistake, when the game starts, I'm going to win a football game. Like that says it all right there. Like he is coming to put up 50 on us, and it's not going to be funny.
The only reason it's going to be funny is because I'll just be crying throughout the whole game because my absolute despise of what I'll be watching. And let's be clear, it's not because I wish Tom Brady was still on the team. I would care less if I don't care when Tom Brady does well outside of us. It doesn't really bother me because it's not affecting me. It's not playing the Patriots. I don't have to watch me get torn apart by the guy who I idolized for 15 years of my life. I know he played 20, but I wasn't watching football in 2001. Newsflash.
Yeah.
But watching Tom Brady, the Tom Brady to Rob Gronkowski inevitable touchdown that's going to come into this game is just like, I'm just going to watch it and be like, man, remember when I was expecting Hunter Henry and Jonnu and Mac to do the same thing? But I'm looking over and Mac is like looking like the kid who just got put in timeout for 5 minutes after just having another stagnant offensive game.
Yeah.
So it's going to be awesome. People who are watching this that hate the Patriots are going to love this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like I look at Tom Brady and I idolize this man for my whole life, and I still do. Like Tom Brady has ruined relationships for me. Like I'm like girls want to hang out on Sunday. No. I got to go watch Tom Brady. Like that's just the way it's been. So when I see him like destroying us at Gillette Stadium, on Sunday night, it's just going to be like, it's going to be full circle. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it right now. It's like
I'm just gonna be angry.
Well, you're going to be angry?
Yeah, I'm just gonna be really angry. Not at Bill, not at Tom, just at myself. Like, I have the choice to watch this game, and I know what it's gonna do to me. It's just gonna absolutely destroy me emotionally. I mean, that Adele teaser that they threw in with Bill and Tom for NBC, I was watching that and I'm just like, God damn it, this sucks. Going into the season, I was like, man, if we were decent and it's a close game, I'll be really happy. But after that Saints game, I'm just like, oh my God, we're gonna get eviscerated by the buzzsaw. That's the Bucs offense. They don't even have to run the ball, and they can just destroy us.
I'll tell you what, man. If the Red Sox, first of all, if the Red Sox don't make the wild card, I'm going to be very upset on Sunday, and I'll know by the game. I'll know by kickoff on Sunday night if the Red Sox are in the wild card. So that's going to be rough. And then on top of that, I got to watch this. Like I said, a man who I idolize come in here and just whoop our ass. And it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. But how emotional do you think it's going to be for like Belichick and Brady when they see each other pregame and all that? I imagine they're going to see each other on Saturday when Bucs have their walkthrough, but you never know.
Yeah, I think at this point, they're just both so competitive that I know everyone says Tom's going to come in and be really pissed, but you can't just sit here and think that Bill is not equally as motivated to come up with ideas. He'll be on that exercise bike for at least 48 hours straight, just looking at film, being like, how on earth can I come up with this genius defensive scheme to eliminate an offense that he already came out earlier this week and said was so similar to the offense that New England used to run with him. So he also knows how that works. So I just think, honestly, it's a chess match, but I feel like, every time we give the weekly predictions for how these games are going to go, I always say it's either going to be the Patriots win by a lot or the other team wins by a little. It's either the Patriots come close and make this a one possession game, which I would walk away happy with, or the Buccaneers just come in and drop, like you said, 50 on us, and I'm leaving this game going upstairs and just crying myself to sleep.
I think the Buccaneers are going to blow us off the field. I'm going to be honest. I mean, you look at this game. Yes, Belichick.
Positive spin zone, man.
There's no positives. You can't really be positive about this one because Belichick, obviously, unbelievable, like greatest defensive head coach of all time, right? But he's going against Tom Brady, and it's not like this is just Battleship or whatever, where you're playing against someone and it's like the same exact thing, right? You just got to this is gonna make sense. You got to like block off the board, right? In Battleship, you're playing Battleship, but you're playing against someone with like 10,000 like ships that are ready to fire at you. That makes sense, right? Like,
yeah, but let's not act like the Patriots defense is a slouch. Like, they've been a very good defense within these past 3 weeks. Granted, it's not the same offense that the Bucs are, but they're the most talented part of this team.
Yeah,
they constantly are getting pressure on quarterbacks. So let's not say that the Bucs are not one-dimensional offensively. They hate their run game. They basically took Ronald Jones and shipped him off to sea, and now are just like, all right, Leonard Fournette, you're all that's left. I've watched Leonard Fournette. That dude is washed.
Yeah,
I know Playoff Lenny is really fun, cool, trendy. He's awful. Like, he reminds me of when we had Lawrence Maroney as our running back, and I was like, we really can't find anyone else better. Giovanni Bernard looked pretty good, and then he got hurt because Tom Brady was throwing him into linebackers, crushing his neck.
Yeah, I just don't think the defense is going to be good enough to stop them for an entire game. Because
I think it depends on if we can just make the offense look semi decent.
We need to score. I mean, you need to so for example, say we go into half and the Buccaneers put up, 17 points in the first half, right? Like that's a good first half of football, I would say. 10 to 17 points in that range. Would you agree with that? Consider we're probably going to turn the ball over once.
Yeah. I think the offense, if there was a week where we were just like, fuck it, let's see what the offense has. This is it. It wasn't against the Saints. The Saints defense is infinitely better than the Bucs defense is. I'm going to stand on that every day of the week. I know they lost to the Panthers, but that's also because Jameis Winston was the worst quarterback in the league that week outside of Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Which love Zach Wilson. Great guy. Good Mormon guy, as we know.
Good Mormon guy. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'd say blowout is definitely like 60 to 70% chance, but I think with Bill, there's always a chance that his defense, if like he comes up with a really good game plan, it could disrupt everything.
Yeah, I agree with that. But also we're dealing with Tom Brady here too. That's another thing. And I think One thing that the offense is going to have to do this week is take shots. Like, they got to be okay with Mac throwing interceptions this week, because the dink and dunk shit isn't going to work this week. We need trick plays. We need deep balls. We need everything. You need to be a well-rounded deep offense.
The pass defense is the weakest part of Tampa Bay. Richard Sherman signing literally does nothing to me. If you've watched Richard Sherman at all recently, you realized he should have been retired a long time ago. Honestly, I don't even know how he's playing. I remember he had like this huge criminal charge against him earlier. I guess that does in the NFL means nothing. But at the same time, I'm not sitting here being like, oh man, got to watch out for Richard Sherman. Whew.
No.
10 years ago, he was awesome. He was great. Now I'm just like, you can have Richard Sherman out there. You can have Champ Bailey out there. Honestly, they're the same. They're old. Yeah. They're washed. Champ Bailey retired a long time ago. No offense, Champ. But I'm not really threatened by this Bucs defense as much as I think other people are.
Here's keys to the game for me. And then we'll do score predictions. Then we'll get back on the second pod. We've got podcast grit tonight. All right. First key to the game, number one, is nope, you can't have penalties. Can't turn the football over.
That's a must. That should be highlighted on Bill's board. Yeah. No more penalties. We shoot ourselves in the foot all the time, and it's pissing me off.
No penalties. You gotta frustrate the hell out of Tom Brady. You gotta throw shit at him that he's never, and he's seen everything, but you gotta beat the guy in front of you in one-on-one matchups. You gotta get pressure on him. You gotta confuse him in some way. You got to get to him. I think that's the big. You got to make him look like when they played the Bears in week 5 or week 6 last year, when he forgot what down it was.
Yep.
That's what you got to do to him. And then offensively, you got to take some shots down the field and hopefully they hit. And you got to catch the ball. Play a perfect football game. Basically play a perfect football game.
Yeah, pretty much. When you're so like, here's the thing that I constantly am going back and forth about with myself with this Bucs team. I think Tom Brady is by far the X factor. No duh. I know. Groundbreaking stuff I'm spitting out right now. But I am not going to sit here and act like the Bucs are a juggernaut. I'm only scared of Tom Brady. I'm not really scared of anyone else. You remove Tom Brady from this Bucs team, I honestly think they're like middle of the pack. I know like a lot of the players are back. I know. You can grimace all you want.
They're all back. Every player's back.
The team is the same team from 2 years ago defensively, and they suddenly looked really good when their quarterback didn't turn the ball over. Who was that quarterback? Oh, it's Jameis Winston. That's right, Mr. 30 for 30 himself. Tom Brady is the X factor. Tom Brady is the one player that if we can make Tom Brady look like we've seen in playoff series against Denver in the AFC Championship for 3 straight years, Tom Brady with pressure is not Tom Brady. Tom Brady with pressure is average quarterback play. The Patriots have actually done a decent job of getting to the quarterback this year. That's our secret to winning. Pass rush has to be there. I need Stephon Gilmore to get off of IR. Also, that man is just taking a vacation.
All right.
And I just can't deal with it. But my key to the game is pass rush, pass rush, pass rush. If Tom Brady turns the ball over, just have Nick Folk go out every time, kick a field goal, and move on. I don't need a running back to fumble. I don't need Mac to throw an interception. Just kick the field goal. We'll win the game 12-7.
All right. Here's my score prediction. You ready for this?
That wasn't my official score prediction.
45-17.
Wow.
45-17. I think it's an ass kicking. I think Brady goes in there and he proves why he was actually worth money, and he proves that he wasn't Johnny fucking Foxborough like Giselle said and all that stuff, and they score 45-17. That's a few turnovers from Mac in the red zone. Or not red zone, but in plus territory.
We'd be lucky to be in the red zone. We are we'll terrible third down offense.
We'll be lucky. Yeah, we're going to be kicking field goals. So who am I kidding? But yeah, 45-17.
I am going to say that the Bucs win. Shocker. But I'm going to say that they win 31-21.
I like that score. a lot. Yeah, it's a good one. They cover. Bucks cover in both things.
I'm going to say they have a late game score. They have the ball. Tom has it with 2 minutes left, and they're just like, we're going to just score one more time. Fuck you, Bill. Boop. That's the game.
All right, there it is. 45-17 and 31-21. I like that. All right. That was
a great podcast if we come in on next week and we won.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be great. We'll have the segments will be good. There'll be no panic room. Inside the hoodie, it'll be like I beat my arch nemesis. That's what Bill will say. Jonas Gray Award. Well, if
Panic
we win,
room Tom Brady question mark.
Jonas Gray Award of the week, it will be Ramondre, and then our quick hits will be Nick Folk and Ramondre permanent, and then our quick hits will be we beat Tom Brady, we beat the GOAT.
This is gonna be awesome. I can't wait for this to not bite us in the ass 2 days later.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next week. And we got another podcast coming up right now talking about every single game on the NFL schedule.
Thank God. This one sucks. Let's just move on.
DraftKings Sportsbook, $1,000 deposit match, guys. Make sure you lock that up. You're going to need it for our next podcast. And that was Ring Chasers number 8. Corey, any final thoughts for us before we get back on and do the next podcast?
We just need to say our prayers and hope that the hoodie can just pull one out. I have never wanted a win more than I want it now. This is our Super Bowl. I don't care if we lose every game and go 2-15. I need this win more than anything, Bill.
All right. Well, Corey's having a panic attack right now. We're gonna log off here. My final thought is Mac Jones' girlfriend better be walking through plays with him this week in the yard because we need it. He needs to know what he's doing and he cannot turn the ball over. That's it. That was Ring Chasers number 8. Tom Brady's coming home. We will see you guys next week for another episode.